Hi there, this is Jeanette for Whimsy Stamps. Thanks for joining me today. I have a brand new video to share with you, and it features this card that I created. And you can see I have a sweet little fairy and her bunny, and they are surrounded by some green foliage. I was trying to channel spring because spring hasn't arrived here yet, so I tried to recreate it in this card. So the image that I used is Fairy and her bunny from Whimsy Stamps, which is this one here. And then I created all those leaves with this stencil, and it's super duper easy. I'm going to share with you how I did that. And then I picked a couple of the individual words here to create the sentiment for my card. Now I did color the image off screen, so here are all the Copic marker numbers that I used. So you can use these markers to recreate the look that I created. And we're going to get to creating the leaves. So I was being super lazy and I didn't feel like masking my image to create a background for it. So I decided that I was going to use the stencil and really carefully sponge the ink around the image. So you can see I'm placing the stencil so that the leaves are going to look like they're sort of coming out from the side. And I'm using Twisted Citron Distress Oxide ink and this very small sponge dauber or dabber. I'm not really sure how you pronounce it. So instead of using the Ranger sponge blenders or the ink blenders, which are quite big, I decided I would use these. They fit right onto the tip of your finger, and you can be very, very precise in where you're adding the ink. So I'm just adding the lighter color first, and you can see I'm just swirling it around and I'm not going over on top of the image at all. And so I'm going to put it along the bottom, along the right side, and then extend it up over on the top towards the left. So you can see how that looks. I'm going to take another color now. This is a slightly darker color, and this is Peeled Paint Distress ink. And I'm just using the same sponge dauber, and I'm going to sort of tap some of the ink on just to see how that's going to look. I'm not going to put as much on as I did the lighter ink color, but this is sort of going to layer the leaves one on top of the other, so it looks like there's like a full foliage around her. And so it's always better to do a little bit and then look at it and then decide if you want more. You can go in and add more. What I'm doing now is I am taking a darker color here and I'm adding it along the top. And I'm just extending those leaves along the very, very top. You can see I started tapping on a little bit more ink just to get that more intense dark color. And I'm going all along the rest of the leaves and just reinforcing the leaves and adding more and more sort of layers on top. So you can see how that's looking. I was really happy with how it looked, and I was really happy that it was so easy that I didn't have to create a mask to protect the image, and it still gave a really pretty look. You could certainly use this stencil and go right around the image. I decided I wanted to leave some blank space. I thought that looked really pretty like that. I'm going in right now and adding some more of the Twisted Citron just to sort of fill in any areas where it was a little sparse or a little white. And then for the final touch, I'm just taking the same sponge and I'm blending on the peeled paint. So you can see I'm blending that along the sides so you're getting a nice dark edge, and then it sort of fades to nothing. So I think that looks really pretty, and it really sort of grounds the image. Although she is in a tree, so she's technically not on the ground, but you know what I mean. It sort of just makes everything look that much better. So when that was all done, I took two of the words. I took the with and the love, and I'm going to position them using my MISTI, And then I'm just going to ink them up using some Memento Tuxedo black ink. And I did have to stamp it or press it down 2 times to get a really nice impression. But I prefer to press not too hard so that you don't sort of smush the stamp. I'd rather do it twice and press lightly and get a clear impression. Now I'm just taking some foam adhesive tape. I thought the card is really simple. It's really like one layer, right? So I thought it'd be nice if I just added a little dimension by popping up this part of the card onto the cardstock. Now I'm taking a Wink of Stella glitter pen, and I'm just using the brush to sort of paint on some sparkle. And I love doing this to any of the fairy wings that, like fairies that have wings, or anything that you want to add a little bit of an extra something, but you don't want to color over it. You can add some sparkle. So you can see you can just press on the chamber if you need to release any more of the ink. And then I'm just brushing it over, and it really doesn't bleed or pile up the paper at all. So you can see that sparkle right there. So the last thing I did is I decided to add a few clear adhesive gemstones to the card for a little extra sparkle. I don't have this exact company linked below in the products, but the one that I did link is exactly the same. I think it's different sizes of gemstones. I like to have like 3 different sizes when I'm scattering them on my card. So I just scatter them around the open area. And then I'm using this Uni Posca white paint marker to add some highlights to her eyes, a little bit of highlight to her barrette there and her hair, a few on the bunny, just to really like, it's a highlight, so it sort of accentuates everything. And I did color in the white spots on her dress to make them a little bit more white. And that is it. My card is done. It was so much fun to create. I really love how it all turned out. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I hope it inspires you to create your own little fairy card. A full list of all the supplies that I use can be found below this video on YouTube, or you can check out my blog where you will get some extra pictures and some extra insight into how I created this card. Thanks so much for watching.